Pro Wrestling Junkies, and today's guest hails from Helsinki, Finland. Began training in 2011 under Starbuck. An interesting side note, he eventually defeated Starbuck in a 30-minute Ironman match to win the FCF championship. He's worked for Fight Club Finland, Dansk Pro Wrestling, All Pro Wrestling, Supreme Pro Wrestling, Dutch Pro Wrestling, just to name a few. He shared the ring with Solomon Street, Ricky Vendetta, King Kong Karhula, Valentine, Starkadder, again, to name a few. So standing in at 6'4", weighing in 225 pounds, I'd like to present you our next guest, Mr. Mikko Maestro.
Hey, Hyvää päivää. Kiitos kaikille kuulijoille, että tulitte paikalle. Thank you all for coming. Pardon my accent, I can't get rid of it. I've been trying really hard, but it's still there.
And I can't even edit that out, so listeners will have to just put up with it. Real tough stuff. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, I'm pretty much as well as I can, in these times of pandemic. Done my home workout and sitting here and glad to be on your show, it really lightens up the week, so thank you for having me.
So when you're walking up to the ring and they're playing The Offspring, Pray Fly for a White Guy, how did you, I understand how the actually name of the song, really applies, but were you a fan of The Offspring?
I am actually, I could show, I have, on my leg, I have the tattoo number 31. And if it goes, he's getting a tattoo, he's getting done. He has to work 13, but they do at 31, because I wanted the Offspring tattoo, but I didn't want the skull logo. I was thinking of that guy from that song, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can call me a Mark. I've been twice on the concert on front row, screaming like a little
Oh,
bit.
wow.
Yeah.
Did you cry during any of their songs?
No. I think the song isn't, except for like Going Away, they're not that emotional. They're mainly just energetic and,
Yeah, totally.
It's just a good vibe. It's hard to cry in.
It's great. At least it's like, and you bring energy right away, as soon as the song starts.
Yeah.
So we'll go back in time a little. As a child, what were you like? Were you an introvert, an extrovert?
I would call myself an extrovert. I really had like plenty of friends and I enjoyed hanging out with them. I really liked cracking up jokes. I don't know if anybody else thought I was funny, but I thought I was funny,
That's all that matters.
Yeah. So, I would call myself extrovert.
Were you like athletic?
Yeah, I used to play, pardon me, that's my dog, Aria. So I used to play basketball for almost 11 years because, you had to be 18 to start pro wrestling in Finland. So at 18, I immediately switched, from basketball to wrestling because I loved basketball. It wasn't my passion,
Mm-hmm. Is Lauri Markkanen from Finland?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
My son and I love him because we're from Chicago, so.
Oh, yeah. It's funny when they show the clips from like this week on NBA on Finnish television. They only show Lauri Markkanen until the Chicago Bulls games, even though they weren't really highly ranked, last season.
Yeah. Oh gosh, we love him. So, at what point did you say, I'm not doing basketball anymore, I'm doing wrestling? Was that planned during basketball?
Yeah, definitely. It's when I started watching wrestling, I felt like those guys are what I always wanted to be, and maybe it took me like a year or so to realize, what, you live on West and, those are just people like me, so I might as well do it, so yeah, definitely, during my basketball years, I was aiming for wrestling and, my basketball coach was physiotherapist, so he gave me a lot of advice, going to gym and how to get started,
Oh, that's great.
Stuff, so yeah.
So how did you come into contact with Starbuck?
Well, first I had met him, on the wrestling shows because I was in the crowd, and every now and then they would sign autographs and I would meet him there. So I sent him a friend request on Facebook just to give it a try because I find his personal profile, and he accepted me, I was like, okay. So every now and then as a fan, I would like write him messages, just like see if he bites back.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, and it's funny, one day I was jogging, just working out, and he was driving his bike. So I like stopped him to say like, hey, I've seen you wrestle, it's just stuff like that. They had this show in Eurosport called WWE Vintage Collection where they would show old WWE matches on TV. He was the commentator and you could text message your questions. So every week I would be texting something just stupid like, "Where is Too Cold Scorpio?" You know, top of my head, you know, thinking, you know, he's a wrestler, he knows everything about wrestling. So I just asked like about these people he had never even met, you know, in his life. Like, you know,
like you thought he was an encyclopedia of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much is, but you know, nobody knows everything, you know. And
so the night before you're going to go start training for wrestling for the first time, are you anxious, excited, nervous?
Yeah, you know, the thing is, I didn't have a driver's license back then, so I needed a ride there, you know, because the public transit didn't go. So my brother dropped me to the workout, to the what do you call it, the training team. So yeah, I was nervous. I got much sleep. I remember better when I get out of the practice, because I had a headache for the rest of the day, and I was thinking, wow, it's gonna be like every day, you know. But you know, the next day when I came there, it wasn't too bad. The tryouts were 2 days weekend. It was Saturday, Sunday, 4 hours both days. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just like fell, you know, or like I don't know what happened. But I remember I had a headache for the rest of the day, and I was thinking like, I don't know if I can do this, but I had to keep going because I had invested like my whole life to do it. It wasn't cheap either.
How much is it to you know, for training? Is it a one-time payment?
No, you can even I paid it up front because I had been saving money since I was like 14, you know.
I
didn't even have a bank account. I was like a stack of bills, you know, hidden. Never had money, you know. So if I remember correctly, it was like 1,400 euros, something like that.
Okay.
So it's like it's doable, but as a kid, you know, who only works summers, you know, a couple of months every year, you know.
Yeah.
Just a kid back then. I mean, I was 18, but you know. So yeah, for me it was a lot of money.
So like the first day, you know, you get home. Were you ready for what had happened during the day, like cardio, all that stuff, or was it not what you expected for a first day?
Yeah, you know, since I had a basketball background, I was thinking, you know, I'm in pretty good shape. You know, when we started warming up, we were running. It was, you know, hot day. But, you know, I could sprint, I could run as much as we want, so it wasn't too bad. Just keep running and running for like half an hour or so. And when we got to the ring, I was surprised, first of all, about some of the stuff we did, because I had no idea how pro wrestling works. You know, I had been on TV, I hadn't seen those shows like Pro Wrestling Exposed or whatever. I just like watch the shows and be like, okay, I know how it's done. So I was surprised, like how it's about some of the things. Also, I remember when I was running the ropes, I got burned out in like 5 minutes, and I was thinking that makes no sense whatsoever, you know, because in a basketball court I had to sprint all the time, but for some reason running back and forth the ropes, you know, it wears me out.
Yeah.
Maybe we had been working out a lot, but yeah, and then also when I went home, I had the stripes from the ropes on my back, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the bruises were there, so.
Oh my God. So, but eventually, like each day it got a little better?
Yeah, sometimes it felt like it doesn't. I just like felt just terrible, you know, but yeah, I don't know, you know, I just, like I said, that's what I wanted to do. So definitely wasn't my favorite, but yeah.
Okay. How long between first day of training and your first match?
I'd like to say it's like 10 months, because there was like a month's break between, or month and a half break training, because the training took 9 months.
Okay.
Actually, the training was supposed to be 6 months, but for me, you know, I wasn't good enough, so I had to keep training more, you know. So,
which is fine. That can't hurt. You know, that can only help.
Yeah.
So when did you start traveling for, you know, to go to different shows and such?
Well, in Finland, you know, it was just one promotion and one ring in the whole country. So then when you start making the connections and, you know, meeting people, like we did a lot of talent exchange. We'd have Swedish wrestlers in our show and whatever. I think it was like, I think it's late 2013 when this company called Dansk Pro Wrestling filler superstars for their Tatanga tour. Like there was going to be 3-day show, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on different towns in Denmark. And the last day they had 30 Rumble, so basically they need 30 wrestlers.
Yeah.
So they got a couple, I think it was like 4 or 5 Finnish wrestlers that went there. So I was that was my first time out of Finland, and luckily I got to go back to Denmark a couple more times, and eventually a friend of mine recommended me for a German promoter, so I got to go there. And it's a lot about, especially in Finland, it's about who you meet, because those promoters, they get so many emails every day, like, oh, this is me, this is what I do,
Yeah.
But once you met somebody, or even better, once you wrestled with somebody, like the promoter from Dutch Pro Wrestling, I wrestled with him before. So it was like, yeah, I know you, I know what you got, I'll see, when and how you would fit in our show, So, yeah, it's tricky, but I'm happy, 7 countries so far, so it's not
That's
too bad.
amazing. Had you been, before you wrestled in the US, had you been before?
No, never. I got really lucky on my first time in going to States back in 2015, because I had wrestled this one promoter in Finland because he was touring, Europe. So that's how I knew it. I don't know if you heard about this show called Hood Slam. It's like pretty different kind of show. They have like Street Fighter characters there, or like Bill and Ted. It's a different kind of wrestling show, and they're always sold out. They run once every month, and they're like 1,000 people. So I got to wrestle the promoter. So that was one connection.
Yeah.
Oakland, California, and luckily there's All Pro Wrestling in San Francisco, California. So they're right next to each other.
Yeah.
The promoter is actually from Finland. So that's why I had never met him, but he was very happy to have a Finnish wrestler on his show. So that's
it's who you know.
Yeah, it's who
connections.
You know. And like I said, I feel like I got really lucky on that break. Just like like one promoter from Connecticut and one from Florida. That's quite a travel. And
Yeah. So is the wrestling style and the fans completely different in the different countries you've worked in?
Yeah, it depends. Like when I wrestled in Germany, they were all like minors. Maybe basically it's like this kind of show where dad would come with his kids.
Okay.
So I was surprised because in Finland we wrestled in bars mainly. So like 20-year-olds.
There's never a stroller in there,
Yeah. So yeah, it depends. But in a way it's the same. Because people are loud with their signs. And so like even the background image you have, that's smaller scale. That's what it is.
And what about like the wrestling style? Did you have to adjust the way you wrestled for the different places?
Kind of, but because that's the thing. Because I was trained old-fashioned way. Starbuck was trained by Lance Storm, and I was Starbucks. So we were trained this old school wrestling style. You would see like in 80s NWA or like early 90s WCW, and so that's kind of international style that you can easily adjust everywhere you go.
Sure.
And the thing is, in Europe we do more what you would call chain wrestling, like more like, so it's the pacing is kind of different, and the fans might be looking for something else. But once you're there, you just have to read the crowd. So no, it's the worst thing is if the crowd is dead silent. You have to
anywhere
to realize, okay, that's what they're looking for, that's what they paid for, and that's what you gotta work with.
So at this point, you can listen to the crowd and perform at the same time and adjust.
Yeah, it took me a while because maybe like first 4 years I was just so nervous every time getting in the ring. You try to interact with the crowd, and some people say, "Oh, you're so good, it seems so natural in the ring." But like the fans would say that they would enjoy it. It's great. But I felt like like I was just like, "Oh my goodness, like what's going?" It's just it takes time, to get used to.
Sure. All right. Last question before we move on to something quick. Is it so much fun working as a heel, or do you like working as a baby face?
I enjoy working as a babyface. I was thinking it's so much easier to piss people off. And
Totally.
I kind of still agree to it. Especially some place where I go, I just can't hide behind the accent, especially because my tights are, red and yellow.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
In some place I go, they're just, it doesn't matter what I do, they're just saying like, go back to Soviet Union, it has nothing to do with me, but,
Yeah, yeah.
depends on the people. But I just like being cheered. I think it's just more fun, going there smiling and, and just making people happy. So I definitely prefer being babyface.
Yeah.
I just live with the energy, the positive energy. That's something that I enjoy,
That's really funny because I've talked. My wife is a dancer, so she performs, and not a stripper. And I always say to her, I'm like, God, it must be like a great feeling to have like people like stand up and clap for you and stuff. I've never had that. So like, yeah, I can understand that being like a real big, draw to being, a face as opposed to a heel. All right, I'm gonna let you go soon, but I'm going to ask you 5 yes or no questions, not wrestling related.
Okay.
Okay, you just say yes or no. If you want to elaborate, go right ahead. Okay.
Okay, you're making me nervous, but let's see.
Okay.
Let's see how it goes.
For $3,700, would you eat dog meat?
3,700.
3,700? No.
No, I couldn't because I have a dog of my own. Now that I think she's back there, I was like, no, I couldn't.
Yeah, like like the dog with like carrots and some potatoes.
No, maybe if I didn't have a dog of my own.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my first dog, and it's.
Oh yeah, don't eat it.
Oh yeah, no, it's changed my life.
Okay, if you could turn invisible, would you commit crime?
Oh
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God, what kind of dog?
It's a husky lab,
Oh my gosh, how old?
Like 5 years now. Yeah.
You guys look the spitting image of each other.
Yeah, we have the same eyes.
You can tell he's your dog. Okay.
Thank you.
Have you ever committed, if you could turn invisible, would you commit a crime like robbing a bank?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who wouldn't do that.
Yeah, because I think that. Yeah, I don't know robbing a bank, but I'm sure I would definitely do something. Just,
you rob one bank and you're set for life. You don't have to do it again.
I think I'd say no to robbing the bank, though.
Okay.
Definitely, I would abuse my powers, for sure. Yeah, for one way or another. Even
safe enough. Okay. Have you ever gagged on a food in a foreign country, like that it was gross to you what was going in and your body was rejecting it?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been skydiving but forgot your parachute? No. All right. I hope that wasn't the case. Hold on. My headphones fell out. Okay. The last question. Would you let a friend date your mom or dad?
Yes.
Either one of them. Okay. And those are your 5 random yes or no questions. So are you going to be, I know that like all the COVID stuff is going on and it's affected the show since the spring. Do you have anything, are you going to be appearing anywhere coming up?
No, right now there's no bookings at all. My schedule is very empty. There might be something going up, but I'm also thinking like, is it worth it, because I'm still, I'm not saying like worth it, like, of course it's worth it. I was going, for the crowd and whatever.
Sure.
Risking it, because there's so many people, and for me, I was optimistic. I thought this whole thing was going to be over in August. Well, I was thinking it's going to peak, in summertime and keep going down, but
it's still dangerous.
Yeah, it's unfortunately no bookings for now, and maybe that's for the best.
Yeah, and it's not like you're at the end of your career, like at that. So it's like, all right, we all deal with this for now. It gets over. Everything hopefully will go back to normal. But yeah, no, I agree. You got to be, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed speaking with you, and I look forward to us talking down the line.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the yes or no questions. That's something.
Okay, good. All right, great.
I done a couple of these interviews and nobody ever asked me like
if you ever fell out of an airplane without a parachute.
Without a parachute, yes, that's a very unique question. I don't think I've been asked that in my whole life.
Oh,
Then,
nice.
not even just interviews. Yeah.
Awesome. You'll always remember that. All right. You take care, stay safe, and we'll talk again.
Okay, you have my contact info, and
I'll be in touch for sure. Next time I'll just ask you yes or no questions. So.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. Yeah.
All right. Take care, Mikko. Appreciate you coming on.
Okay, bye, Brad.
Bye.